Hey, there is Tomas Cortez, creator of HRpreneur. I'm so excited to bring you other in-between episodes, the series of Minisodes where we can listen to essential elements of our future episode podcast. I recommend you fasten your seatbelt to enjoy every second with our guests. Here with us is Judy Ellis, and I'm pretty sure you remember her from the episode about the sneak peek of DEI Strategy. If not, please go to the episode 1 of the second season and listen more about her, because today we will explore with her the strategy framework to advance women leaders.
The final point is about networking, and it kind of goes with what else we've been talking about, but not getting so insular that you're only focused on your job, what you're doing, and the 17 people that you typically work with on a monthly basis. It's expanding beyond your current circle, because you never know who in that next ring of circles will have an opportunity for you. And that works internally as well as externally. Yeah. In a sponsorship program we developed here at AMS, one of the roles we had for sponsors was just to introduce their protege to someone else in their circle so they could begin to expand their own personal network. Because there are projects that come up. May not just be another job opportunity, but it might be a really interesting project that you can contribute to. Yeah. And guess what? People like to work with people that they've already met. I'm sorry, it's part of human nature, but someone proven is who they feel more comfortable. And even if they've had one meeting with you, but they've been endorsed by someone else who introduced them, they are more likely to say, hey, let's have Judy contribute on XYZ than a person that they don't know. So continuing to expand your networks, pushing yourself to go to those ERG meetings if you have them in your organization where you're able to meet other people, other opportunities that are presented where you can meet people beyond just your little core work team is very important strategy for continuing to advance. And I have made mistakes or kind of let all these hurdles knock me off the path at various times in my career. But looking back, getting back up, even if you have never posted on LinkedIn, you can make a declaration that I'm going to work on my personal brand and I'm going to post one article a month. That's just 12 things. You can pick them off. You could do it over the holidays we have in December and say, I'm going to pick 12 things that I'm going to post throughout the year. And that would be it. But just starting small or saying, I'm going to ask one person, I'm going to tell my boss the job I really want to have. That's something I'm going to do. So using your voice to actually get past these hurdles and do something meaningful is what's important. And that's all part of that framework from the book that I really like.
I have a couple of reflections around this topic, because I think that sometimes we want to start any endeavor or any project, but the word that we use here is a strategic framework. And if we define that, you mentioned a couple of words relating with the North Star, objectives, goals, and all these plans to have in mind just to produce that change. That will help us to produce this strategical plan to make those changes, not only for, as we mentioned, for women, also for anyone else that want to continue growing inside of the companies. Or thanks, Judy. Well, to close this conversation, I would like that if you have a couple of recommendations, a book, a video, or an article that you could recommend to the audience to keep nurturing their knowledge of this topic, is there something that you can share with the audience?
Yes, the book that kind of the hurdles, the research showing the hurdles that have inhibited women's performance that I really like It's called In Her Own Voice, A Woman's Rise to CEO. And it's by Jennifer McCollum.
Okay.
And in it, she talks about that and really kind of honing in on what's your key skill. Like, I know one of my leadership skills is my ability to communicate and tailor and craft messages with audiences. So whether I'm talking one-on-one with a person or I'm in a boardroom, that is something that I try to own and use when I can. And a new book I really just received this week, I really like, is called The Right Kind of Wrong by Amy Edmondson. And she's one of my favorite organizational management leaders. She talks in this book about how there's intelligent failure and all failures aren't wrong, and that we should kind of create psychological safety in our organizations where people can experiment and innovate, because doing that requires failure. And there's a lot that we can learn from our failures. And so kind of resetting the stage that it's not the worst thing in the world if you made a mistake or even that you failed, that if you're not taking any risks, you probably won't fail. And that means you're not really pushing and using all your leadership capabilities, that risking things to make smart mistakes and then learning from those failures is really important. And she talks about examples of companies that have made that the norm, that they celebrate, like, well, we learned 82 ways not to do this particular project. She talks about Eli Lilly and a drug trial that they had that went wrong, but they had a party celebrating. We learned all these things, but part of what they learned was a nugget that they then went and experimented with and found out, like, the problem, the people that were successful, what was it about them that worked, instead of focusing on what didn't work. And they found, I think it was folic acid or something they needed to add to people's diets with this particular drug. And it became a multi-million-dollar best in class chemotherapy drug, even though it failed the initial trial because they didn't know all that they knew. But it was just a good example of how you really can learn from failure and fail intelligently and use that to help you the next time.
I appreciate for those recommendations. And well, Judy, having deep conversations with you is always a pleasure for me and for the audience that has been reaching out to continue recording these episodes, or in this case, these minisodes with you. And in addition, well, our audience is eager to learn more about you and your wisdom in D&I. I'm confident that our audience knows where to reach you because, as we mentioned that when we start this minisode, you have one episode in HRpreneur relating with the sneak peek of D&I strategy. But could you please share again your social network and your mail in case that some new people wants to connect with you?
Yes, you can contact me by email at judy.ellis, and that's ELLIS at weareams.com, or on LinkedIn at Judy Ellis. AMS is my company name, and I like to share content related to diversity, equity, and inclusion and organizational culture.
Thanks, Judy. Thanks, community, for connecting with us in this new adventure of Minisodes. And wait for these incredible episodes that we are going to have in the future in different topics. And well, hope soon to continue having these conversations with my amazing friend, Judy Ellis. Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.